All right, let me take you back for a second because every bad dinner decision, well, it starts way earlier than you think. It doesn't start at the store. It doesn't start when you're hungry. It starts with confidence. Yeah, we'll go with confidence. It starts with you kind of earlier in the day when you're just sitting there, maybe at your desk, or you're sitting there in the truck, or you're sitting there on the way to practice, and you're just like, I'll just figure it out later. And that version of you, well, that guy's got it together. That guy's responsible. That guy thinks he's gonna have time. Now let's fast forward, because now it's later, and that guy, well, is gone. He left. He checked out. Now it's just you standing in your kitchen, looking around like, all right, what are we doing here? And then you got a couple of kids going, I'm hungry. There's nothing to eat. Well, that's what I decided to be a little proactive. At the time of the recording, it's Cinco de Mayo. And I said, you know what? Let's head on over to Dollar General and let's get the best Mexican food that they offer. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. But then we're going to cook it up. Avery's going to give it a little bit of a review. Of course, she won't get on camera, too busy. And I'm going to record in between softball practice, cooking dinner, and then on the way to a basketball game while the wife drives the other two kids while they both had practice at the same exact time. But at the end of the day, we're going to have ourselves a Dollar General Cinco de Mayo. Yeah. I feel like I'm not the only one that's been in this situation, right? And I do have to admit that I don't know what it is about certain days, right? I mean, sometimes you just get caught up, or at least it's me, when you decide to pack 18 hours of stuff into a 24-hour day, but time just seems to disappear. It's like you flip the little sand time thing and it just is gone in the blink of an eye, because this time of the year, it's crazy. And sometimes I think that I've got the whole evening, and then suddenly you realize it's Tuesday and it's gone and you forgot the one thing. Sometimes you work a little longer, sometimes practice goes over. Sometimes I get a little bit chatty, and the kids will attest to that. I'm packing up, I'm driving home, and by the time you get there, you feel like you just lost 3 hours. And I'm still thinking, dinner. Well, dinner didn't get the memo. Dinner is still sitting there like, yeah, you gotta deal with me. Which, I don't know why it was so creepy, but before I jump into this, I do want to let you know that I am gonna at some point bring in my buddy Luther Grimwood, who's gonna help with the Cinco de Mayo stuff, because this episode we're going to not only talk about what we had for dinner, how it tasted, we're gonna tell you about Cinco de Mayo. But sorry, I'm jumping all over the place because I'm really excited to talk about this Dollar General Mexican food. But so listen, yeah, if you're like me, you got kids in sports, right? You already know this isn't even optional, because you don't run your schedule. Softball does. Softball says, yeah, you got to be here at this time. You got to leave at this time. You're going to be here. You're going to be there. You're going to be there. And it doesn't care about your wallet. And sometimes you're going to be a little longer than expected. And then there's the old weather, because on the fly, a game gets canceled, a practice gets added, a thing gets shifted, and whew. And I have to imagine you're like me. You just sit at the field and you think like, holy cow, I've been here for a long time. I feel like this is my home now. Like if somebody asks me sometimes like, where do you live? And I'm just going to be like, first base side. Yeah, coaching softball. But the crazy part is I don't question it for some reason. I just I accept it. I'm like, this is just life. This is just life now. So again, let me bring in Luther real quick, see what he's up to. And you guys have heard my voice too long. If you don't know who I am, I'm Matt. I'm Beard Laws. And let's introduce him real quick. Luther, my dude, what's happening? Welcome to the Stay Out of My Fridge podcast, my dude. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Ah, my friend, it's a glorious Cinco de Mayo. The fridge is open, but not for leftovers. No, today it's all about those legendary Dollar General Mexican delights. We're taking our taste buds on a budget-friendly fiesta. Because who says dads can't be culinary adventurers while also surviving softball season? Let's fiesta and maybe, just maybe, avoid a post-taco nap.
Yes, let's definitely avoid the nacho. The post nacho taco, potato, same thing. So, when's the last time you've kind of been to a Dollar General? Like, I know we recently, and by we, I mean me and the family, we did the candy stuff. If I remember, I'll put it here. But when's the last time you've kind of stepped into the DG?
The DG, the land of surprises and questionable deals. I popped in not too long ago, maybe a few weeks back, when I needed a last-minute random tool and left with snacks I didn't know I needed. It's the kind of place where you go for toothpaste and leave with a garden gnome and apparently a fiesta worth of food. You just never know what's in store.
You really don't. And I mean, let's be honest, you get that little clearance event going on, you walk in and they got that table of stuff that's way cheaper than it should, and you're like, I'm not going to do it, I have willpower. And then you walk by and the kid sees this and you see that, and goodbye, Will Power. Not really sure who you are, Will, but anyways, that's a dad joke for it.
Willpower is like that gym membership in January. Sounds great in theory, but disappears when you're standing next to a discount shelf of chimichangas. But hey, we'll call it content research. You've got a whole podcast to justify that cart.
You aren't kidding. And so where we are at this point, I guess, we've got this night. We have Cinco de Mayo. No plan. Dollar General decisions, me cooking food while one kid showers, the other two kids and the wife are on their, commute home after double prackies, and hopefully they come home happy, hungry. Well, not hangry, because let me be honest, I live in a house full of girls, and when they turn hangry, it is no bueno. See what I did there? But I'm sitting here thinking, I should probably know what this actually is, because I've celebrated Cinco de Mayo. I've eaten the food. I've done the whole thing, but I never really stopped and went, what are we actually celebrating? So not only are we going to get to the Dollar General haul, which I will insert some videos if you haven't seen them already, me going to the DG, what foods I got and all that good stuff, but I thought it would be a good idea to actually tell you what Cinco de Mayo really is. And I figured, Luther, you'd be my guy. Like, do you think this is a good idea? I mean, right, educating the people it's got to be pretty cool, right? We're not just about stuff in fridges, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we can't just be out here stuffing ourselves with chimichangas without some knowledge, right? Educating the people while we munch on Dollar General finds, that's a power combo. And I am here to drop some real deal history, no fridge required. Let's make sure when they walk through that door and they get a side of wit and wisdom right before you pass the mini tacos.
All right, well, let's go ahead and break down Cinco de Mayo, Luther. Let's travel back to Mexico, early 1860s, where there's some internal conflict, right? Should we go with that?
Oh, absolutely. Picture it. 1862. The French are coming in hot, thinking they'll take over Mexico City. But at Puebla, Mexican forces gave them a big old not today Napoleon III. It's a celebration of an underdog victory. And who doesn't love a good underdog story?
All right, well, let's we're building this up, Luther. No spoilers, all right? So again, early 1860s, they're coming out of an internal conflict. Debt, it's piling up. The economy, it's struggling. Not exactly in a position to deal with, let's go with outside pressure. And then, like Luther said, here comes Europe. Britain, Spain, and France. They all had interest. But France, they're the one that pushed it, didn't they?
Oh, they sure did. France thought, hey, let's install a puppet emperor while we're here. But on May 5th, 1862, at the Battle of Puebla, Mexican forces said au revoir to the invaders. So Cinco de Mayo isn't Mexican Independence
All
Day.
right. You're jumping right to the end. We got to build it up, Luther. Patience, young grasshopper.
Ah, you're right. No good story hits the climax too early. We've got to season it like a perfect taco. So let's simmer in the build-up. France, led by Napoleon III, was like that one guest who overstays. But the underdog vibes were just getting started. We'll get to the finale, just after the next bite.
Oh, there we go. Take a bite, everybody. Because let's be honest, at this point, you're probably eating some Cinco de Mayo leftovers. Napoleon, not the first, the second, but the third, he wasn't just trying to collect some money. He's trying to build influence in the Americas, which, by the way, is a pretty big deal because the U.S. is dealing with a little something called Civil War at the same time.
Exactly. The US was a bit busy with their own North versus South drama, so France thought, why not make a move? But that's what makes the Battle of Puebla so satisfying. Against the odds, Mexican defenders said, not today, Napoleon. So every leftover bite is basically a victory snack.
Yeah. I mean, everything in the region seems to be, well, pretty unstable. And then France, and that Napoleon, not the first, the second, the third, sees that and goes, yeah, now's the time. So you kind of have the French troops moving toward Mexico City. You ever been to Mexico City?
I haven't physically been to Mexico City. No legs on me, just words. But hey, it's a vibrant place, rich in history. And back then, it was that shining prize. But before the French could roll out their empire plans, Puebla stood strong. I'd say that's a better plot twist than any soap opera.
Yeah, I haven't been to Mexico either. I've been to Canada a bunch because I'm on the Canadian border. Never went south. It's quite a ways. Turns out Canada to Mexico, pretty far from there. But so you got the French. They're moving towards Mexico City. And as Luther has said like 27 times, they find this little place called Puebla.
And Puebla was where the party stopped for France. With General Zaragoza leading the Mexican forces, they pulled off an "excuse me, you're not invited" moment. It didn't end the whole intervention.
All right, wait. We're not gonna give away. We're not gonna give away again. All right, Sorry, everybody. He gets so excited about history, he just can't contain himself. Yes, led by the general he talked about, and they decided, Luther, this is how you build the story. Take notes. He decides to stand and fight. And again, it's not supposed to go so well. It's this whole underdog thing that Luther keeps dropping. But it's like showing up to a game where the other team already has everything. They have the size, the strength, the experience. So if you show up to a softball field with not even some gloves, a bat, and you're just a first-year team, kind of like the Bad News Bears. You just show up, your coach is having a couple schmokes and some bottles of beer, and then you're just kind of there, like, we're going to give this a shot. And somehow, just like the Bad News Bears, what do, Luther?
They pull off the win no one expected. Against the odds, with grit and probably a few metaphorical Bad News Bear moments, the Mexican forces send the French packing, at least for that day. And that's why we celebrate. Underdogs with tacos make the best stories.
Yeah, they held them off. They pushed them back. For that moment, everything flips. And in those moments, I feel like they matter more than outcomes sometimes, because it's not just about winning. It's about proving something. Because think about it. We all have versions of that, right? Moments where you're just tired. I'm not going to lie to you right now. I'm exhausted. Don't feel great. Slight headache. Think I pulled the hamstring. Too old is what my body's saying, but my brain says I'm good. And then there's, moments where maybe as a coach, maybe as a team, you just walk out and you're technically outmatched. Our teams, we're always prepared, but sometimes you're just outmatched. But you still show up, and that's what sticks, because that's what people remember. That's what these athletes remember. All right? We're going to never give up. We are going to show up, and we're going to give them everything that we have. And let's be honest, people, they remember those underdog stories. They don't remember the easy wins. How many sports games do you clearly remember that was just a blowout? But I bet you can name 5 underdog victories.
Oh, absolutely. The upsets, the comeback stories, that's where the goosebumps are. And that's exactly what Puebla was. You're right, those moments define us. So whether it's a game, a podcast, or a plate of Dollar General nachos, you show up. And who knows, you just might make history. Or at least a memorable meal.
Fair enough. So let's fast forward a little bit here, and we're here. Cinco de Mayo, USA, which is, let's be honest, it's a completely different thing. This is food. This is celebration. This is restaurants going, yeah, we're just going to go all in on this. And again, especially if it falls on a Taco Tuesday like it did this year, I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. But it's a little bit funny, I guess, how something started as a military victory turned into me standing in my kitchen with a pile of Dollar General Mexican food. So history probably didn't see that one coming, did it?
I doubt General Zaragoza predicted Dollar General chimichangas in the future. But hey, here we are. History evolves, and so do our celebrations. As long as we remember the spirit of that underdog victory, and maybe have a good laugh while chowing down, I'd say we're doing it justice.
I do. And when I was just grabbing the stuff, right? And we'll get to the video here in a second. If you're watching the video, if you're listening only, well, I'll describe it, all right? There wasn't really any strategy. In my brain, I said, all right, let's see how much I can buy for like $20, right? And I had Avery with me, and I was just like, what do we think? And, you know, I was kind of like, you know, this could work. This could be decent. Now, this feels like dinner. This is interesting. This might be good. That looks terrible. And I ended up with the stuffed nachos, which actually kind of looked like the 3D Doritos, if you remember those at all. I ended up with, I believe, some kind of burrito, a couple of chimichangas, mini tacos. To be exact, I ended up with the stuffed nachos that were beef and cheese, shredded steak and cheese burrito, a chicken, cheese, and rice chimichanga. Chimichanga is just fun to say. A shredded steak and cheese chimichanga, mini tacos, and then there was a chicken bacon ranch taquito. So I guess if you were in the biz, it'd be what? A Dollar General Mexican sample platter with no rules.
A Dollar General Mexican sampler with no rules? Now that is a culinary adventure. Honestly, that's the spirit of this whole thing. Just like Puebla, we're going in without a perfect plan, but hey, we're showing up with nachos, burritos, and sheer determination. So let's dive into the taste test saga.
All right. Let's start with the stuffed nachos. All right. So the stuffed nachos, like I said, I'll try to show the video right here in post edit. But for anybody that's not watching the video, as you can see, it is it's like a triangle. They're puffy, and I mean it's just a stuffed nacho. So my brain instantly went, all right, I'm gonna picture nachos and cheese. Like I'm just dipping a tortilla chip into some kind of like orange nacho cheese. But they're baked, so it should have a little crisp. It probably is beard friendly. And, you know, the Avery was a little excited about this. Took a bite, and be honest, had good crunch. But it kind of tasted like, just like some breading with a little bit of nacho cheese. So if you're like a, go ahead with a chip and get a big old blob of cheese, this might not be for you. Did a bunch of it leak out? Honestly, no. I cooked them all in the air fryer, to be honest. I did the whole sample platter. 400, took about 10 minutes. I think I had 2 trays. I didn't cook everything, but it was a decent one. And it was, what do the cool kids say? It was kind of mid. Avery's rating was a 5.3. Here's what she said. She said, they're not bad. It kind of tastes like breading with a little nacho cheese inside it, which is, well, a nacho, right? And I do agree with her. It wasn't bad. It wasn't the best thing I've ever ate, so I'm going to go... the first number that popped in my head was a 5.1.
A solid 5.1. You gave it a fair shake. I mean, if it crunches and vaguely tastes like cheese, it's got a place at the table, even if it's not winning any culinary awards. On to the next item in our no-rules platter.
Almost time for that, but the stuffed nachos... They're honest, and I respect honest food. The price, I believe, was like $4.25, right around there. They were just under $5 for 20 of them. It looks like a really small bag, but it's not a bad buy, especially for under $5. I want to say it was $4.25. I'll have to double check the receipt. And I mean, they're not pretending to be anything else. They're like, hey, this is what you bought. This is what you're getting. In a weird way, it just kind of worked because sometimes expectations can ruin everything in these. They don't have any. And to be honest, I took a little bit of some nacho cheese, gave it a little Dunkaroo. Not Dunkaroos. And to be honest with you, wasn't half bad. Still 5.1 for me, 5.3 for Avery. We'll lock it in at a 5.2 between us. Luther, you didn't get a chance to try these, right? You didn't get the memo till late. That's on me.
No nachos on my end, but I'm here living vicariously through your crunch. Honestly, it sounds like the nachos were as honest as a dollar store receipt. So with those expectations managed, let's see what other treasures or surprises are next.
Yeah, let's go with the burrito. How about the burrito? It seems like a good thing. Again, this is going to be a shredded steak and cheese burrito. I love a good shredded steak. For me, when I see shredded steak, kind of give and like in my brain, I'm thinking like a Philly cheese steak. But before I even took a bite, I was expecting it to be kind of like a Hot Pocket. And I can't do it like that. I gotta go, Hot Pocket, right? Look at the commercial.
You absolutely nailed that mental image. If it's anything like a Hot Pocket, hopefully it doesn't come with molten lava insides. So, was this Dollar General burrito a cheesy dream or more of a lukewarm surprise?
Ooh, so I have to be honest with you. Because of my years of burning myself on Hot Pockets, I knew to cut it, invent it a little bit. Obviously, it was a burrito, so it was wrapped. Wasn't exactly Hot Pocket, but that's where my brain went. And to be honest with you, it wasn't great. It had a good crunch. I mean, it's a frozen. They were 3 for $5. So the burrito and the 2 chimichangas, you got 3 of them for $5. So I thought it was a pretty decent buy. And let's be honest, for the price point, it's not bad. It's going to fill you up. But if you were to go to like a fast food place like a TB or any of those other Mexican places, not only is it going to be busy, but if you're going to get a burrito or something like that, I mean, they're also a little bit mid, a lot of calories, pretty filling, and I mean, for me, this was the most middle of the road kind of thing, potentially like the nachos that I expected. I was hoping that it had a little bit more flavor. The topping ratio, not terrible. A lot of the burrito because it's wrapped, but it was crunchy. It wasn't bad. Of course, I took a couple of bites without it. It was a little bit better with some salsa, some hot sauce, and a little bit of some nacho cheese. And I mean, it was kind of like a movie you watch, and when it ends, you go, yeah, I guess I saw that one coming. No strong feelings, no moment. It just kind of happened. So again, nothing great, nothing terrible, just kind of mid. I liked it slightly more than the stuffed nachos because of the price point. It's a little bit cheaper, more food, cheap. I'm cheap. I'm a sucker for it. So for me, I'm going to say it was like a 5.7. Avery wasn't a fan of it. She said that's a hard pass for me. So you just get my rating, 5.7 out of 10.
A 5.7 sounds like that burrito earned its keep. Not exactly a blockbuster, but a reliable matinee. And hey, sometimes being just a crunchy bargain hero is all you need, especially on a busy, hangry day. What's next on the plate?
Let's do the chimichangas. Let's do a twofer. Let's do them both in there because the chimichangas, I mean, they're different. Luther, will you explain the difference between a chimichanga and a burrito for our less cultured Mexican dining listeners?
Absolutely. Imagine a burrito goes on an adventure and decides it wants to be extra crispy. That's a chimichanga. It's deep fried. So basically, it's the crunchier, more rebellious cousin of a burrito. Now I'm curious, did these Dollar General chimichangas deliver that crispy rebellion or just a softer revolution?
Like you mentioned about underdogs, you kept saying it. I'm going to say this is the underdogs of the night. And I feel like it kind of makes sense because I came into it. I expected nothing, right? And you ever kind of notice how the less you expect something, the better that it kind of hits, the better that it is. And this was it. Now, we had the shredded steak and cheese chimichanga. We had the chicken, cheese, and rice chimichanga. Again, both were crunchy. Again, I air fried them, used them right around there, maybe an extra minute or two from what it called, to be honest. I ripped the package and I couldn't really read what it was, so I threw it in with the rest of the stuff. Pretty impressed at that much sample platter stuff. Actually was able to cook so crispy and decent, and in an air fryer, they know what they're doing when they make it. Now, have I gone to a Mexican restaurant and ordered chimichangas a bunch? No. I believe there's one, maybe 2 places that I've ever ordered a chimichanga. Did I like it? Yes. But it was hard for me to get a base reading of the chimichanga itself because they're usually lathered in some kind of sauce, right? So this, obviously, no sauce. You have it all. The chicken, cheese, and rice chimichanga, it was decent. The wife would definitely not eat the chicken. It's kind of that cheaper chicken. Obviously, they're 3 for $5. It's not going to be like high-end chicken. So if you have a texture thing, it's going to be pretty difficult for you. Thankfully, I do not, but it's just cheaper, cheaper chicken. It was crunchy, a little bit of some flavor. Didn't overly love it, but didn't hate it. It was a little bit better with some hot sauce and salsa for sure. So for me, the chicken, cheese, and rice chimichanga from Dollar General, that was probably, again, I'm gonna go with a 5.6, a little bit lower than the burrito for my personal taste. I thought the steak was a touch better than the chicken, but again, the shredded steak and cheese chimichanga for me, that was like a 6.3 territory. It was good. It was better than the burrito. It was better than the chicken and rice chimichanga. Again, was this my underdog hit of the day? Could absolutely be. I liked it. It was good.
All right, so the steak chimichanga took the crown. 6.3, not bad for an underdog from the freezer R. I love that you went in expecting nothing and got a pleasant surprise. That's the best kind of chimichanga victory. Now what's next? Are we heading into mini taco territory?
Mini taco territory, MTT, baby, because these were right there. They had a shot. They needed a little bit of help. All right, so let's go with Avery's review first. She said it has to be dipped in sour cream. Tastes like cheap beef, and it had that nice crunchy shell that we talked about, but again, obviously it's cheap beef and it tasted like it. Didn't know she was a beef expert, and it did have some good flavor. She tried it with, without. Obviously it did need some sauce. It says there was some salsa in there, like real salsa and stuff like that in there. I don't know about it. Were they good? Yeah, again, price point was, I want to say it was like $4.25 as well. Got a decent amount of them. I mean, we've had these before. It's a pretty quick meal. They're fairly good. The youngest, Isla, loves them. Avery likes them. That was the first thing that she requested when we went there on this adventure. It's going to have a little bit of a soft spot for her. She rated it a 7.1 out of 10. I'm going to say it was right about, I'm going to go with a 6.6. Very bland, but again, little salsa, little hot sauce. It kind of tastes like a little taco. They're mini. You wouldn't know that, if you were to do it blindly. You could maybe sneak it in from like a cheap, say a TB or a cheap fast food place that you order, drive 20 minutes home, and you just kind of reheat it and go. It's got that same kind of vibe. So honestly, again, needed sauce, needed support. They needed a teammate on their own. They just didn't get it done. But for me, I'm going to go, so what's that in the middle? 6.8-ish, roughly? Notice how I didn't say 6.7.
A 6.8 it is. Bland but dependable. Like the reliable bench player who steps in when you add sour cream. Not a solo star, but hey, teamwork makes the taco work. I'd say.
I like that. Then we had the chicken ranch taquitos. Avery went with a 6.4 out of 10. She said it tasted like a Dollar General chicken bacon ranch pizza, which a little confusing, but at the same point, it's all the same stuff, so it kind of does make sense. Super crunchy, pretty filling. She went 6.4. That's like a, I don't know, 4.6 for me. I didn't love it, but I also don't love chicken ranch. Throw it in a taquito. It's confusing. Didn't overly seem Cinco de Mayo to me, but she loves chicken bacon ranch stuff. We had to get it, and yeah, I think that's our reviews. I don't know if anybody else has tried them before. And let's go with this. This is kind of the real part. This is how dinner works sometimes, because it wasn't planned. It wasn't perfect. It was just like, hey, just make whatever we can. Let's make it happen. I debated trying to elevate them, but at the same point, how are you going to elevate these? I mean, yeah, you could throw them in there, add some more sauces. But I feel like, how are you going to really get the taste? How are you going to get the pure ranking and score just as DG without trying to elevate? Maybe we try to elevate some stuff from DG at some point, but again, this is just where we were at.
And honestly, that's the beauty of it. Real life doesn't always come with a recipe. You took what you had, you turned it into dinner, and hey, sometimes that's exactly what you need. We've got some mid-scores, some underdogs, but in the end, everyone's fed, and we've got a story, and that's a win in the busy parent playbook.
You aren't kidding, because let's be honest, there's nights where you don't even have time to make food. You just stand in the kitchen, you eat, you grab the first thing. You want ramen, you want SpaghettiOs. You're not even going to heat up the SpaghettiOs. It's right out of the can. Oh, cool. You got some Spam. You want some Vienna sausages. We're just going in like an exhausted raccoon some days. No plate, no dignity. Just open something. Just go for it, right? And take a bite, move on. And the worst part, you don't even question it. You're just like, let's get this done. Let's get some showers, and let's find a way to sleep, And then adding the kids to the mix, things always get a little more interesting, because now it's not just what am I eating, it's what are they eating? And those are two completely questions, especially with picky eaters. We have some, I don't like marinara sauce. I want noodles with Alfredo. No, I want, parm. You know what? It is what it is. We can make a full meal. One would eat 3 bites. One would do this. No matter, at the end of the day, they want dessert. They want a snack. It's not a battle that I'm fighting. It's a battle that we as parents are fighting. And if I'm alone in this battle, that's absolutely crazy. But then you start to talk like the money side of things, because everything is pretty expensive now. It took almost $100 to fill my truck the other day, and I got a little truck, right? I mean, groceries, takeout, all of it. Yeah, I try to do the math. Like, is it smarter for, the family of 5 just to grab something out or go to the grocery store? It's like, it's almost, I don't know. It's tough. It's very tough. And then that's why we just kind of start to look in the middle ground. Something quick, something cheap, something that works. And that's how you end up standing at a Dollar General on a Cinco de Mayo, which also lands on a Taco Tuesday, building a meal out of what they have in the frozen food sections. And that's why this whole night actually makes sense, because Cinco de Mayo, it's not about showing up when things aren't ideal. And this wasn't it wasn't that. There was no plan, no structure, just, hey, let's go figure it out. And honestly, it worked. It wasn't perfect. Not something I'd recommend planning, but it worked. And sometimes, if you're like me, it's a little victory because it's enough. And if you've had one of those nights where dinner just turns into whatever you can make happen, I'd love to know what's your go-to, because I need some more recipes, because I know I'm not the only one doing this.
You're definitely not alone. Honestly, sometimes the no-plan nights become the best stories, just like this one. And hey, that's a wrap, just like that chimichanga.
That's a wrap. So, thank you for hanging out with me and Luther. Luther, thank you. If we need you again, you can check him out on the Triple T podcast that comes out every Tuesday on the Beard Laws Network. And he's a big old brain. Love having a conversation with Luther. And again, sorry, Luther, that hopefully I'm able to put you on the back burner, because I miss having the family a part of this. But again, I'm the only one home. Sometimes you just got to make it happen, just like our meal at Dollar General. So hopefully everybody else had a great Cinco de Mayo, learned a little something, and maybe, just maybe, you have a Dollar General meal that you can send my way that we can do on an upcoming episode. Again, from the bottom of my beard, thank you for taking some time out of your busy day. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, do the thumbs up, the share, or don't. I don't know. Let's get out of here. We're all busy. That's all I got. We'll be back next week. Take care, everybody.
Knock, who's there? It's the podcast you adore. Stay out of my fridge. We're back, ready to explore. Gotta tell a tale, gonna make you laugh, gonna make you smile. So buckle up tight, it's gonna be a wild ride. We're diving deep into your fridge where secrets